Schaefer, I'm so glad
Yes.
you could come. I'm Mrs. Bonifas.
Thank
I
you.
am George's counselor here at the high school.
Thank you, it's nice to meet you.
I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
I'm Miss Hazenkamp, I'm his American government
Hi,
teacher,
Miss
or will
Hazenkamp.
be this
It's
year.
nice to meet you. I'm George's mom.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you for having me. I'm just really concerned here about George and some behavior, but yet his studies are just not where I feel they should be for him. And I need some help and some input from you guys, so.
And that was, we've recognized a little bit of that here at school, and Ms. Hazenkamp has come to me with her concerns, and looking at his transcript right now, you know, he's starting, or just gonna start his senior year here. It looks like he's 5 credits deficient in some social studies.
Okay.
Ms. Hazenkamp had him in American history, so kind of knows a little bit about how he works, and know that sometimes school is a struggle for George.
Yes, it is. It is. He doesn't really care for school that much, although he attends well. But I really feel like he really could put more effort into it. But I mean, you know, kids, how hard it is to get them to do something that they really don't want to do. But so I'm just seeing how I can help and what I can do at home to you know, help him with this. And if we need to get those credits, how can we do that?
Right.
And that's the purpose of why we're here today.
Okay, good, thank
And
you.
we want to make sure that we set things in place for George to make sure that he does get those credits.
Great.
I believe he has some aspirations beyond high school, and we want to make sure that he's prepared for that.
Yes, he has talked about going to a 2-year college, which I think would be good for him if we can, you know, get him along and get him that little umph that he needs to go there.
Just kind of want an understanding of you with confidentiality. Just understand how much you've put you at ease, that everything said here today is
Thank
really
you.
that of trying to work for George's best interest. And what's said here stays here with us. Of course, obviously, if there's another professional individual, we'd like to get involved as long as we can approve it.
Yes, I
We
appreciate
would
that.
do that, but I want to understand, I want you to feel comfortable with that. And if at any point in time, you would, in the future, you would like to meet again, that's something we can do as well. And then also, we want to make sure that George is involved after we come up with a plan.
Okay.
Today, we want to make sure that he's aware of
Okay.
what the plan is. You know, as we do this, and I appreciate so much you being so willing here, because this needs to be a partnership between all parties involved. And in this case, we have Ms. Hazenkamp here because it's that deficiency in social studies.
Right.
But we've
Okay.
seen a lot of the same types of patterns with George in the past. He's a hard worker. He's very polite. He is, I'm gonna say, a people pleaser. He wants to make sure everyone's happy, but we need to make sure that he understands the
Yeah.
importance of finishing this up.
Exactly. He is a really good kid. I mean, I don't have really any problems with him, you know, except for, you know, there's that little bit of laziness, I think, that just doesn't want to get things done.
I'm also aware, you know, when I had him in American history, he has a job. And
He
so he
does.
does work quite a bit,
He
and not,
does.
you know, I don't
Right.
ever want to use that as an excuse, because I think it's good for kids
Yeah.
to have jobs. But he does work quite
He
a
does,
few
and
hours.
he puts quite a few hours in there also, and he does get home late
Mhm.
from his job, and therefore sometimes it's hard for him to get to school, you know, on time, and therefore his studies have lapsed a little bit because of.
And I
of
felt
but-
that was one of the things when he was in my American history class. You know, if he didn't get homework done a lot of times and brought back, and, you know, he would say, you know, well, I had to work last night and close, or not close, but till 10. And so I'm just wondering, you know, how do we address that this year with the American government plus, you know, 5 other social studies that we're gonna have to pick up.
Ms. Hazenkamp, as far as academics, how do you feel he is there, other than just the work not coming in?
Definitely capable, he's very bright. He picks up on things very easily, and I think that what made him able to get through American history was that when he's in class, he's attentive, he's listening, and he picks up a lot from listening, so he was always able to get by on the test. I think, from just being in class and listening, because he is very bright. But as far as putting in time studying, I didn't see that really happening.
So our concern probably isn't that of capabilities.
Right.
It's more of that follow-through and being able to get those outside assignments done.
Time management, I would say, knowing he has a job. And I believe this year he was going to go out for cross-country, so now we have another element added in. And his American government is in his first semester of his schedule, so I'm
Which is
wondering if,
also when cross-country
you know,
is, yes.
when we start talking about ideas, do we move that to second semester?
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yeah.
do you see any other concerns as far as at home?
Just that lack of, that laziness, you know, is there, like and Ms. Hazenkamp is correct, he does have a job that he is at and spends a lot of time at, but frankly, you know, we need to have his income coming in also, and so that's why he is, you know, working several hours, which really helps out the family, and that's very important. However, I know that his schoolwork and getting him through this senior year and whatever, you know, my husband and I can do to, you know, help out and encourage him, and that's why I'm kinda looking to you for what can we do, how can we get this encouragement across that this is important, not just coming from mom, and so.
How many hours a week, or how many days, first off, how many days a week does he typically work?
Well, he works pretty much every night after school, and if he goes out for cross-country now, he's gonna have to make that a later shift, so, and then he works weekends, so
Whole weekends.
he might have maybe one of those days off during the week that he doesn't go in after school, but
A lot of his time outside of school is gonna be placed on the job,
yes,
which
yes,
is needed.
yes,
And that's the one thing with George that I've always admired, is that he's not afraid to work.
right.
You know, he's
Yeah.
never, when he's kind of, you know, we've had our visits, and he seems very proud of his job. And I've
Yes.
seen him working at
Yes.
Walmart.
Yes.
And he does a great
Mhm.
job, he's very social, very polite. I think they like him I would like him as an employee,
Yes.
so I think we've got some good things going there. So maybe our task here is to maybe, you know, looking at his credits, the only thing, I mean, he'll have to have that English,
Mhm.
and then he's gonna have to pick up that 5 credits of social studies plus the American government.
Is there any time during the school day that he can, you know, get a chance to kind of work on some of those things, you know, during school that wouldn't necessarily have him to have all of it that comes home with him to try to accomplish? Is there, you know, looking at his schedule, what does it look like as far as time-wise
You
too?
know, as of right now, we have him second semester leaving at the end of our 3rd block. We've came to 4 blocks here, so he is leaving at that point in time for the work release program. That might be a time that maybe we move it into earlier in the year,
Okay.
and that time be that time that he makes up that social studies credit. Ms. Hazenkamp, you mentioned maybe possibly moving that schedule of American government. Are you teaching a section of that
Yeah,
second semester?
there are sections both semesters.
Okay.
So, and there are sections of like psychology both semesters, sociology is only offered second semester. So if we keep, you know, I hate to put both government and English all at the end of the year, because if we run into trouble, then we don't have time to recover those credits if we move, if you were to move it all there.
I would like to see that his required classes are done by the end of 3rd term,
Okay.
just because of that situation, where then, you know, especially if we start to look at some college stuff for him,
Right.
he's gonna really wanna be working on getting those applications in. And so if we could, you know, I understand the cross-country, you know, maybe not doing it that 1st term for the social studies, but maybe that 2nd and 3rd term, would that be something?
Is
we'd
that
like
something
to-
that's possible
idea?
in the
I think so.
schedule? Okay.
I will make a note of that, and I will make sure that I get his schedule changed
Yes.
for that. Do you feel that would be suffice? Do you think we need to come up with some more ideas?
Well, I think that sounds good as a plan, and let's start out with that. And I think communication is a huge thing also, and I really appreciate you seeing me and working with George. It's just very important for our family also. And I think if we keep the communication open, I think we can keep things rolling, and if we find that maybe it's not quite up, then we need to look at it again and see what else maybe we can do. Does that sound good for you?
One thing I would I recommend, and I don't usually do this because teaching seniors, my goal is to get them ready for that next step and being able to advocate for themselves and being
Right.
responsible for themselves. But I think that once he's in my American government class, watching, you know, once again, those assignments, if they start not coming in, maybe have to communicate with
Okay.
you. So
Yeah.
you know at home what's going on.
Right.
And I don't normally like to do that because they are seniors, but I think in this situation, it's important.
Mhm.
Do you feel that those need to, I mean, obviously, we wanna make sure we catch it earlier than later.
Right.
Would those be things that we would want to monitor weekly, or would we look at bi-weekly? How would you
I
like
think
to do it?
it's, you know, how you would like to the
You know, I think
reports.
every couple of weeks would be good. I just think that, you know, I don't wanna hound him on it, because sometimes then that makes things a little worse, and then they kind of dig their heels in a little bit. But I think let's just keep in contact at least every couple of weeks, and then we can go from there
So
with.
we'll do some bi-weekly
That
reports
sounds good.
for both classes
Okay.
as well. I just think
Okay.
that kind of.
I would say English too, depending on where you end up putting the English. If it's first semester and you could put American government and psych or whatever, later, I think the English is gonna be
I think for the academics, I think that's a
for
great
the
idea,
academics.
that we just do bi-weekly reports home
Okay.
to you.
Okay.
And then, now I notice he's down here, for a metals class. Now I know that's a lot of hands-on in classroom, not out of the classroom. Do you think he'll be okay with that?
I
don't
think
there's a
he'll
lot of
be,
homework
yeah,
there.
I think he'll be okay with that. There wouldn't be, you know, sometimes those are just good to have that little bit of, you know, a class that you're not necessarily doing paper and pen. You know,
Right.
I think that would be good for George to have that hands-on on that.
Very good. Now, he's mentioned to me his interest in the computer side of thing. I don't see him as taking a computer class this next year.
Okay.
Do you think,
Well, maybe we should mention that to him and see if that's something that he would like to still get in if there's room, you know, if there's room in his schedule.
very good, I will
And
look
see
at
what
that as
he
well.
needs, so we can mention that to him, and if you know, have him coming in, or, you know, we can talk about that at home, and maybe I can send him in too, and sit down and look at his schedule with you guys, and.
I think that might be a good idea. I
Okay.
just wanna make sure that you are comfortable
Yes.
with what's going on and the season here. I appreciate so much
Mm.
you coming in today and
Absolutely.
helping with this, because George is just a great kid.
Thank you.
We enjoy having him. We wanna make sure that he graduates.
Yes,
And we'll
yes,
do
we
this.
do.
How do you think will he be receptive to this schedule change?
I think he will. I think he'll be fine with it. I don't see any problems there. I just wanna give him a little boost and hope that he can, you know, go forward and not just be at a standstill, you know, where he's at, so.
And I think approaching it to him with that whole fact that he's going to have the cross-country right now, that it's not a good time to do this, let's drill right away
Okay.
after that.
That sounds good. Thank you
Very
so
good.
much. I
Okay.
really appreciate you meeting with me, and it's very nice to meet you.
too.
Yes, thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you so much, and
Thank
please,
you.
if you have any questions, feel free.
I will.
Don't
I'll give you a
hesitate,
call.
come in and call.
I've got your number, so
Perfect.
thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
And Ms. Hazekamp, thanks for your time today. I
welcome.
appreciate you getting out of your planned time. I know how valuable that is.
Thank you
Thanks
very
again.
much.